Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone's had a great weekend and ready to do business. Well, I mean, I've been looking at the chart for a while now. Now, I can't trade most of my accounts because I have them locked till about a few minutes after the open, just after 2:30, but I have a new one and I can. So I actually took a couple of trades on that. It was a new account, so it was at zero, and sometimes I will trade a little more aggressively. That one I don't think was. But we've actually had some trades today. I mean, it depends how you look at this, but this thing dropped. Something to do with AI, I believe. I don't know, but we had a big drop. I mean, that was like a 30-point drop. Karina, good morning. And then we continued on down. We kind of had a triple test then. It dropped again, but there was a trade there, what I consider a nice second entry long there. It's clearly working along there. That one there, I thought it was really nice. The ATR's high, or it was probably 4.5 when I took that. So I just held it and went up there, got out for 6 points. Now here, a little bit more riskier trade, but I like it. And the reason I like it is we got a downtrend and we got a bullish bar, which is off that bottom. Now, I think that is going to get stopped out all day long. So when we had that form, I thought it was worth the risk. So I put my order, my profit right at the close of that bar, and it ticked below. It did what I expected it to, but I thought that was going to get stopped out all day long. So I'm up $800 just on that new account, which is good news. So I know, yeah. Well, somebody said something to do with the AI. China have released certain AI, which is cheaper than the US. I don't know, to be honest with you. Then someone said NVIDIA is lower long. I don't quite know, to be honest with it. This is what I did ask, actually, anyone know? And someone said China. I put a laugh to that because I thought it was messing around. But then Marco said huge drop is connected with DeepSeek announcing their AI model. It's way cheaper than there, so perhaps that's it. Perhaps that's what's caused that bit of a drop. So there you go. Market is open. So this is pushing up clearly to break these highs. It did look like a possible downtrend, but that to me looked that nice. I couldn't see that not attempting to push high, and we bounced along there a few times and then up it went straight up. No issues. So Karina, hello to you. Ryan, how you doing, buddy? Speedy, good morning. Daryl, how you doing? I don't think I is a reason. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. Who knows, really? Who knows? So, maybe a bigger channel there. I mean, that thing has just rocketed up. I'm guessing a lot of this is going to recover. I mean, that thing's literally, since in what, less than 2 minutes, it's gone up 30 points, nearly 28.5 points. In less than 2 minutes. Tony, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, so I took that one for 6 points. I just held it. It was a new account, a new PA account, which I picked up on Friday. So I thought I'm going to hold on there a bit. It actually went quite a bit higher, but I just got out for 6 points, which is somewhere around about here. Just past those highs. And that one I liked as well. To be honest with you, because the ATR's high, I got 2.25 points. All I did was put at the close of that big bull bar. That was going to get stopped out all day for me. It was a weak position to take after a downtrend with a break. You'd expect a new low, and it was off that bottom. So if I took that trade, I'd expect that to lose. So I jumped in there and just got out for... so that account now is up $800 today. So I'm not going to trade that account now. I don't really want any more on that because that 30% rule comes in. If I get it too high, I won't be able to draw anything until I get 3.5 or something like whatever it is, $3,500. So let's see what happens today. But we've had a massive move today. It's not often it does that. Now we've got a big gap there of, it's got to be 25 to 30 points. So yeah, 26 points thereabouts. That's a fair chunk, and then the thing just dropped, didn't it? Unfortunately, it happened overnight for you US guys, so you kind of missed it. Well, it's the trouble is when it does that, you never quite know when to get in it, really. I mean, as a Pats trader, we at least try to get up to the top of this, and we didn't really till here. And if you took that lower high, it stopped you out. So, which is typical, isn't it? So I'm guessing there's a fair chance we either recover this or have a couple of legs up and maybe drop some more. Who knows? So I'm holding on longs at the moment because that has had a break and clearly made a new high. So I want to give this time to just figure out what it wants to do. It's hitting this level now, which let me have a look. Yeah, I mean, there could be something wider there. There could be, I don't know, two-tiered channel maybe, possibly something like that. Wouldn't be the worst looking. I know some people don't like that, but that looks just like it's working in the top tier. We're working back and it's going sideways. So maybe we'll just keep an eye on that. But I'm just giving this a minute to figure out what it wants to do. But what I am going to do is just draw that measured leg and just see where it could possibly get to if it does decide to continue on up. So yeah, I don't know. I asked a question, and Mike said China is, well, I think he said that quite comical, but when Marco put that, announced their A model is way cheaper than the US, maybe it did. I mean, AI is a big thing now, isn't it? I don't know a lot about it. I know what it is, but I've not looked too much into it. Well, I say I know what it is. I'm assuming it's artificial intelligence, isn't it? It's getting more and more. So, yeah. So, 2 legs back. Let's see where this goes. It could come back down. It could range, could do a bunch of stuff. But at the moment, I'm just giving it a little bit of space just to make its mind up. So let's see if this pushes below. If this pushes below there, I'll draw a little downtrend. In fact, there is a failure there. Second entry long failure. So if it gets below there, which it's going to, yeah. So I don't think that would have been a terrible trade if that was a slightly better bar. But you can see it trapped that bull bar there and then came straight down and stopped it out. So I'm now going to draw this as it's flickering around a little bit. So look at that. So so this thing, leg up, moving again. I'm still just sitting tight at the minute because could be ranging a little bit as well, which means it may come back down. A couple of attempts to go low before it goes up if it does. I'm just going to put this here just as an area of interest. So we've had a push up with a little break, new high. We've tried to go higher a couple of times. Jan, how you doing, my friend? So it is going a little bit sideways here. Be interesting to see what happens when it connects, or if it connects with this line here. Some people aren't a fan of these two-tiered channels, but I actually don't think they're that bad. It kind of fits push up in this, and then we kind of go sideways with a little downwards bit and then bounce there. So maybe it's working in this tier now, leg up and a leg up. So I'm just paying attention just to this line here, just to see if it gives me anything, because that will be 2 legs, 2 attempts to push lower. It may go up. Let me just check my accounts are all open as they should. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want that. I don't want that. Order cancelled. Why is that coming out? 1, 2, 9. Hold on a sec. My mistake.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. Yeah, sorry.
Order cancelled.
I guess the market can go crazy any time with. Yeah, well, somebody said something to do with China's AI has been released, significantly cheaper than the US. Now, how much truth's in that? I asked a question here somewhere. Yeah, anyone know what caused that drop at the open? Someone says China's AI is better than the US. That could have been comical. I put a what's it there, but that huge drop is connected to the DeepSeek announcing that their AI model is way cheaper than the US. So I don't know. How true it is, I don't know. It sounds like there may be something in there. It's about China. Oh, okay, it is about China and AI. Okay. So, I mean, it does look like we're going to recover a lot of it, maybe all of it. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a fair old drop. It dropped about 25 points and then continued to tank. I think it went down 100 and something points, didn't it? 185 points. That's a fair old drop, that is. So, actually, I'm going to bin that now. I think there's another channel up slightly different, I think. So I'm going to put that like that. And that like that. Watching to see what happens in this area when we get to the 50-60 fib. Yeah, it could just be two legs up, couldn't it? And then it could go down, or even maybe a leg and leg from here. See, it's showing that as the high of the day. Of course it is. Yeah, that's the current high of the day. We gapped down, didn't we? So yeah, we've pushed above this 50. Ideally, we don't really want to go any higher than that, do we? But it could be kind of two legs and then continuation. Who knows? This looks like it might be running out a bit of a steam. In fact, let me get rid of that now. Let's put this back. I wonder if that would work. It's possible. It's possible that we could come down to this level. So we'll just keep an eye on that. So I'm just going to draw a line from there to there, just to give me an indicator of where this could move down. And also from there to there, we're surpassing that one now, I think, aren't we? Yeah, that doesn't seem right at the moment. I'm just going to do that for now. Okay, so there is a second entry long on my other chart. But I'm sitting tight here. I don't know whether this thing's going to come down lower or whether it's continue up. It's just a little bit, we're ranging a little bit and then we sort of pop out and pull back in. So I think a second entry long here is just something I should stay out of. It is a second entry long. It may go higher, who knows. The one thing it's got going for it is it did tick below that bear bar, so I think it's it's at least going to get above there. But this is just a bit unclear for me. FS6, how you doing, buddy? My chart is reload and restart does nothing, not even hit the EMA since we started moving up. Just check everything is as it should be. You're on the ES, you've got the 2000 tick chart. Just check the obvious and then reboot it. See if that helps, bud. I'm assuming you're on your trading Ninja Trader, are you? Okay, Nvidia's taking a bit of a dump as well. Someone's just posted that. So that looks like it's down nearly 12%. So whether it has anything to do with that as well, who knows? Delete history and try again. 2 legs down and a bullish bar. I'm still sitting tight at the minute. That actually is not too bad, I don't think, but I'm staying out of it. It's 27 ticks. And it is a little bit congested here, so I think the safe option is just to sit tight here. I don't want to risk 27 ticks. Or 20, yeah, 27 plus a tick above, tick below. It's too risky, that is. I wouldn't be shocked if that comes down to the bottom here. Funny, actually. Very funny. Dan's actually did that thing I did earlier, which I thought he wouldn't like. That there. He's done that. So maybe it is. In which case, that wouldn't be a terrible trade, would it? So he's done that. Well, yeah, I'm not so sure about that now. Something I don't like about it. Unless there's a bit of a spike in a channel, that might be better. Let's put that like that. And pull that to there. That to me would be better. But the simple answer is, if you're not sure, do nothing. Yeah, someone else has just put that. Dan's just put that. Someone else has put that. And yeah, we need some more price action. This we do, yeah. It's hard to know. If this is a channel there, I'd like to think it's going to come down and test this line. Somewhere around about here would be nice. But at the moment, it's just going sideways, so I've got to sit tight here. It could just be that bigger spike in channel. I don't think it looks terrible. And that would take that to there. So I'm just going to kill the colour. So we did have a leg and a leg back and a strong move up there. I wasn't so sure, actually, because we had 2 legs down and we had a bullish bar here which triggered stopped out, and it was looking a bit like it was struggling there, so I thought we may have missed something there, and now this is coming down. All of a sudden, woof, up it went. Okay, so it's just way too risky, all this stuff here. It's just congested, and if this is a range, which kind of it is, it's right in the middle, and this is just going to chop people up, I think. So I prefer that at the moment, I think. So if it is a measured leg, that would significantly get a lot of that back. So we are going sideways, which is telling me it's more likely eventually going to move up. My gut feeling, I need this to drop. Takeout stops there, maybe there. Unless there's something like that. Not so sure. I still like to see this drop and clear out all this area. Stops there and stops there. Okay, let's see if this works now. Come on, come down. I want to see a drop here. Below that one. Below that one. Possibly below that one. Sometimes I find these strong positions manage to hold. The trouble is, if this is a range, this could go well below the bottom there. So I'd like to see that bar trigger and then come down. Okay, it's triggered. Now come down. See, that trade for me is floating in the middle of nowhere, unless there's another channel up that I've not spotted. But yeah, there you go. It's just got getting stopped out written all over that. So it's triggered that. Come straight down, stop it out. That one we need to go. And then down below there, I think. And then maybe if we can find a trade down here that's cleaned a lot of this out, we may be able to get in long. See, it is quite a strong position, that, isn't it? It's a lot of buying there. And in fact, this is kind of at the bottom of a range. I'd still like it to push down, though, to the bottom here. Certainly below that. That long for me, and it is a failure. There's a short trap, but it's a doji, so I can't see many traders shorting that. But I'd still like this to come down below all this, clean all this out before it goes up. So if you're a buyer really, and you want to buy this market, you've got to be looking here, haven't you? Obviously depends on what chart you're looking at, but this has got to be the ideal place. And often I find once it has cleared a lot of this, see, there's a stop there, isn't there? It's not a bad looking trade there. There's a failure there that pushed up. So that and that are on the same level. So it may hold. There's a tick difference, but I still think if there's buyers, they're going to be around the 6. In fact, let's have a look, see if there's any on Bookmap. Bookmap, yes. Let's have a look. Okay, there's buyers at 25, which is below this area here. Let's just make this a bit larger. So there's buyers at 20. Quite a few buyers. There's some at 25 and at 20. So, which is below a lot of this, I think. Yeah, 20. That would make sense. That is a place to buy, I think. Some at 25. But this to me has got to come down here, clear all this out, and then I think it's going to, buyers are there, and there's some at 25 as well. But depending on how you're looking at this channel, you could tighten that to there maybe, and then bring that down to there, and that would bring that 20 area close. The top's closer as well, so we'll see. This for me is going nowhere. What I find, the slower it moves up like that, it's going to reach the top, and this thing's going to come down, I think. Trouble is, you just never know, really. My gut feeling, though, it's going to come down. Obviously, you've got aggressive buyers as well, but this isn't a place to buy, in my opinion. It's weak, a lot of this. These are the areas it needs to clear below. If it gets below there, it'll likely target that and that, which may give it a push close to this 20 level. But if this is a channel, which is kind of looking nicer and nicer, you want to get down closer to this line, really, if you want to buy that to continue up. That would be my thought process anyway. So there may be some buyers there. A long year for me. This has got to come down. Drop. So there may have been some buyers there thinking this is a small channel up. It's just got stopped out now. This has got to come down. Got to. There's quite a few. All is sat down here. There's some sat down here. Majority of them are sat down here, which is below all this. It's below there as well, a fraction. So you would have to think it would clear all this out first before it's worth getting back in. That's unless there's something I've missed. I don't think so. So this is where I expect price to get to, somewhere around about there. This will tell you whether I'm really full of shit or not. It's just that gut feeling, isn't it? If this is a bigger channel, I just, whenever I've entered in stuff like that, the thing comes rocketing down and takes everything out. So when you get used to seeing this very choppy and really struggling to get it off, and it just does that, there's no guarantees. But if I was looking to go long here, really, I'd be thinking about down here below all this stuff. That's unless I'm missing some kind of another channel, which I don't think so. It's possible, but it's too sideways. I mean, it could be. Okay, so that's what I meant. Yeah, Thomas Way has just posted that. That's what I mean, unless there is a channel that I'm missing. There could be something. I've had a play around with a couple there, but it's still very congested and sideways. And it's not going up very strong for me, so my gut instinct is this is more likely to come down quick than continue much higher. But it's just a feeling you get, isn't it? When you sit here every day and just look at these areas, you kind of get a feeling, don't you? But nothing's ever set in stone, of course. I mean, that's a big drop. There's going to be traders wanting to get a lot of that back, isn't there? Yeah, it is difficult to read. That's what I mean. Although it is kind of going up, it's not doing it very confidently enough for me to get in a trade. What I find is when you get this and it struggles to get up off and it just launches down, takes out, stops here, and clears that area out. But whenever I say that, it goes up that little bit higher, but I still wouldn't trust going long here yet. But ultimately, if you've got more buyers than sellers, it may continue up. At some point, I suppose sellers may give up. Who knows? But it's clearly, what I find, the slower it is, the harder it is to get up off and the quicker it comes down. There's going to be a lot of longs in here, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you? Certainly there. Definitely down there after those two legs back. And sometimes they're strong enough, it doesn't get back. Yeah, a few people have just said they've had problems loading NinjaTrader. It wouldn't load the ES chart for 5 minutes. So, as you mentioned it earlier, and you're not on your own, I don't think. Oh, someone's gone long here now. It's way off using Top Step's web platform. Oh, got you. Now, is this going to be the one that launches? Could be. If it gets down below there, my fear then is this comes right the way down. I think that's the line in the sand for me. So it's triggered that bull bar. So let's see if we get another push down. So that's going to get stopped out by the looks of things. There's definitely a battle going on, isn't there? Yeah, it's just my gut instinct. There's going to be a lot more people willing to buy down here. So whether there's going to be enough buyers to push this, continue this up. Yeah, Thomas Wade's got a channel like this. It's got it like that. I mean, it could be, but this is more sideways. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest with you. Got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. We're down below there now. That'll be next, I think. If it gets below there, I think it'll get right down here then. Okay, that's that gone. So we know there was buyers at 25 and lower. Whether they'd have changed now or not, I don't know. But this has got to clear a lot of this out for me. So that's 25 where there was buyers, and there's some as low as 20. Whether they'd changed, would you still buy down here now, or would you bring it up here a bit? Let's have a look. So buyers at 26, buyers at 23.
Buyers could,
Okay,
yes.
so they've
Sell
come up
stock
from
lion.
2020. Let's just bring this in. They've come up from, they were down at 20. There is some down there at 20. There's some at 21. Some popping up around, but they're growing around here. This will go down and clear a lot of this out. Yeah, which it is now. Will it all there? I'd like to see it get below there. I think majority of orders are down here, close to this bottom, around about the 2021. So for me, it's got to clear those two out there. It's come down the right area. I put the circle here, but let's move it over because that's the area I expect it's got the right line. So let's see if it holds. We may just get a pullback, but for me, these two need to go. You took the fell second entry long for 4 points. Yeah, I don't think there's I mean, we are coming up, but to be fair, for me, my gut is telling me this is going down. Exponential, how you doing, buddy? So now it's hard to say this. See, so I could micro adjust this to make that fit, but I still think this will come a bit lower because the majority of buyers are around about here, or sort of passive buyers are down here. So let's see if this holds. So bullish bar there, which is triggered. If this gets below here, it'll come down to here, I think. May even come more. Let's have a look. Now I could micro adjust this to make that fit. I'm just going to leave it where it was, which is about there. Okay, so that's got stopped out. Now, buyer's going to start to come in a minute, 50% trade, something like 60 minutes. Unbelievable, isn't it? So I want to see it get below there. They may hold because that looks like a solid position to me, and that looks quite solid. But it depends where, if there's, a lot of liquidity down here, it may just come down, but there's 25 where we knew there was buyers and they sort of progressively gathering around here. One, two attempts. See if this bull bar gets triggered and stopped out. The last one did. So maybe there's enough buyers there. There was more around about the 20 to 22, 23. That might be a push-up. So I can adjust that a little bit. Let's put that about there. I think that's okay. Fits nice at the top. Let's tidy this up a bit. So maybe that's as low as it goes. 50% retracement on this big move down, yeah. Still a lot of buyers down here. What you guys do when NinjaTrader is reloading data for 10 minutes? Is it really? Just check how many days. Just check in here, bud. See how many days it's loading. Just check there's not too many days, or cut the days down a bit. or you can just try and reboot it. You're not on your own there, bud. There's been a few people on 3 days. Yeah, there's been a few people that have mentioned it on Thomas Wade and Dan's forums, so they just might be having a few issues at the moment, so just keep trying to reboot it and hope you get somewhere. Yeah, sometimes we don't often have problems with it. I can't remember the last time I had a problem with Ninja Trader. It doesn't happen much. Yeah, you're welcome, mate. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm still not going along here at the moment. This may just range for a bit. As I say, there's buyers down here, so I'd personally like to get below that bar and below that bar as well, because that for me would be a place where there would be stops. We had a bounce here. We came down another bounce, but we didn't break below there, so there was a failure there and kind of 2 legs back, a visual second entry long there. So I'm interested to see if this level holds here. Or we may just get a break here. We've come off the tops. We're going sideways. We're struggling to get up, so we may get a channel down, 2 attempts to push up and another leg. In fact, I have a feeling that that's what we'll get. In which case, I think this will come down right to there. That would make sense. Leg down, 2 attempts to push up, maybe a 3rd attempt, and then down quickly to this level here. This for me is just struggling to get up. It's going nowhere. It's got to clear out some stops and encourage more buyers, really. There's going to be liquidity around here. There is a higher low. They're actually a failure. It's still struggling. There's a higher low which is triggered. This is coming down for me. So who knows? You never know. I mean, where do you draw the line? Do I keep adjusting? In which case you may go from something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in a long trade here anyway, put it that way. We've got a channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. My gut feeling is this is coming down. Bearish bar triggered. I mean, it could hold. There's nothing set in stone. It's just struggling for me. You're glad you got 2 trades in. Yeah, I am. It's unfortunate that they were just on the 1 account, but that's fine. That's fine. I can't. Yes. Okay. So that's gone. So the higher low or the failure, depending how you looked at it, got triggered and stopped out. So this now, we need to get below there for me. It may hold, channel break. We get a new low below there. That's a little bit lower, so it may hold there. I don't think they're terrible positions. But if we get down this measured move, it'll push below there. But I think this is going to be the toughest part to get through. So a channel break, 1, 2 attempts to go lower. Is it going to push up and hold or not? 1, 2, 3, triple test. Yeah, I'm just staying out. My gut feeling is a lot of stops sitting around here. And I know there's buyers down here. So for me, yeah, this is risky. For me, there's a lot of buyers here and there's a lot of stops here. So we've had a channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. I'd like to see this measured move. As I say, it's going to be harder to get through this area, I'd have said. But look how many times we're failing to get up. Not only that, if this is a range and that's a breakout, we often get one the opposite end, which means down here. So, let's see if I got my line right around here, I'd say. So I don't think there's a bigger channel now. This just isn't making much sense to me. We're just going pushed up and going sideways. We've had kind of 2 pushes up from here, maybe. Stops along there, and then here. It's going to push down there, isn't it? It wants to clear all that out, really, I think. Sellers do. If it gets below there, it might be quick. There's the line in the sand there for me. 1 tick. Is it enough? You may put it below there or even below here, depending on how you're trading that. So, leg and a leg, that measured move's played out. Now, right to the tick. So leg down, leg down. So any of this, any stops in here, or, well, this lot got eaten up earlier, but, so I got my line right, so I got the idea right. Now let's see what happens. So it is possible that there may be something down, but it's more sideways, I think, for me. Yeah, I wouldn't pick a bottom here. This is only the second time we've hit it. Second entry long triggered. That's risky. Often that first one off here, and it's only hit here twice, gets triggered and stops straight out. I always avoid that. If you're going to take one off there, really, maybe go for the higher low, but that's going to get stopped out for me. Trouble is, if this is a bit of a downtrend, and it's only bounced off here, this is only the second time we've been down here, so for me, buying there is just too risky, yeah, unfortunately. That often does. If I was going to take one off there, I'd only wait for the higher low. Yeah, bad luck, mate. Yeah, do you know something? I used to take a lot of trades like that, and I'd just given up in the end because I'm not very good at picking tops and bottoms. And if you look here in this range, remember I mentioned we got a bit of a breakout here. Often we'll have one exactly the same. I took a trade here. I mentioned it last week. I took a trade here about 3 weeks ago off the bottom. It was a lovely setup, and it was going up all day long for me. Triggered me, stopped me out, came right the same distance out there, and ended up rocketing up. So I had the idea right, but I didn't give it that extra space. So, and I see this all the time. Whenever we're going sideways and we have a small break out the top, often we get one like a mirror image. So just be careful about taking anything off there. Often it will trigger you, stop you, and then ended up moving up. So I don't pick tops and bottoms anymore because I'm crap at them, to be honest with you. I've not done a lot of them. I went through a stage of trading them and just getting chopped up, so I leave them now. I mean, if we did this 3 or 4 times nice and clearly and had 2 legs, some circumstances I'd have a go. Some, you know, they're obvious. Yeah, what you want to do is get yourself a bit of software. If you've got Apex, it's called Apex. I'll show you. If I double click it, won't let me do it, but I can show you what it is. Where is it? Here. It's called Apex Investing Desktop. What it does is if you select that, it won't let me do it now. It's asking me to shut down. But what it does is it deletes and clears all your cache. So I do that at the end of every day. First thing I do is shut down my flow bots. Then I switch these all onto SIM, and then I clear my cache, and then I'm all ready to go the next day. So you can download that free from, I think it's the Apex Investing website. And it's just a little, little app that sits on your phone, but it just clears everything every day. That way I don't get anything backing up or forget to do it. So I have that process that I do. Replicanto gets shut down. I switch all these onto SIM just in case anything funky decides to open any orders. They'll only open SIM. And then I clear me cache. And this kind of looks like a head and shoulders pattern, doesn't it? Which is a bearish pattern. Anytime, mate. Anytime. So any stops that were sat there anyway are gone now. My Rhythmic shut down twice, bud. And I've just rebooted it. Okay, so we've had the same size breakout there as there. So I'm still not taking a long here, just in case this thing decides it wants to come down, because we've had a really strong push that we've gone sideways. May come down. Yes, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it is, mate. Yes, I think it is. And you just have that. But it does it all for you with a couple of clicks. It takes about 10-15 seconds and it clears everything at the end of every day. So you just select that, click this. It won't let me do it now because it's asking me, and it'll just say clear all cache, and then you'll come back onto this and then just click that. And it does it all for you. Okay, so the kind of higher low worked. I wouldn't have taken it. But it does look like this thing's now pushing up, maybe. Who knows? It's just still unclear, really. But yeah, do you see what I mean, though? You're taking something there, triggered you, came out the same distance there, and ended up, I got caught out myself a few weeks ago there. I'd forgot that we'd had a small break there, so I always avoid that now, and obviously that worked out a lot better. There's the lower high work. The lower high. Higher low, you mean? Is that what you mean, bud? Were you correcting me? Did I say higher low? Did I say lower high? Yeah, okay. I did say lower high. Yeah, my mistake. Higher low, I meant. Yeah, I still would have avoided this just in case this thing is a little bit exhausted itself and it may continue down or not. But how does it work? It's just exactly what it is. Let me find a better example. So we have that little push up. This is more of a channel with a break, really, but it's exactly what it is. It's just. Let me find one. I say it's easy to understand if you know. For instance, if you were going to take a short off here, but you weren't short, you weren't sure. Sometimes it's you're better off to wait for another bearish bar, which is slightly lower. So it's a high, but it's a lower high, if that makes sense. So if you take something like that, it may trigger and stop you out. But if it does push down and we get a little pullback and then it closes on its low, that will be a lower high. And it's a better entry. It's a safer indicator that we're continuing on down. Sometimes you never know. So, for instance, Kirk took that one off there. Now, I tend to avoid them because whenever we have a little break out of a range, we often have on the other end, and we did. So it triggered him, stopped him out. Then you got a bull bar. Then you may take that fade in the range because we've had two legs. But I generally would wait for a higher low, and there was a higher low. Yeah, lower high. Yeah, higher low. I get confused. So we push up, have a little pullback, and we have another bullish bar. So that is a better indicator now than this is going to continue up. I would have avoided it because it does look like there is a possible downtrend. So it may trigger you and then come down some more because it's a little bit whipping around this. So it's just, a lot of this really is experience. When things go wrong, you tend to learn, and after a while you get kind of a feeling that, oh, there's something I don't like about this. That one, it went up and then it came back a little bit, so you don't know whether it's going to trigger you and come down some more. But you're welcome, mate. I hope I don't explain things the best way, but it's just if you avoid that first one, it's just a better indicator we're going to continue on that direction. So this could be a triple test. So if you wanted to go short there, if you're thinking, let's go short here, I would always wait for a lower high because it may trigger you, push straight up and stop you out. So we've come down here and we've pushed up a little bit. That bar is relatively on the bullish side. So it may push up and stop that out. But if it triggers that and starts to come down more, that will be a lower high then. That will be a better indication this is going to come down. So picking tops and bottoms, which Kirk did there. He picked that bottom, triggered him, stopped him out. We've had a triple test up here, but this thing to me looks like it's going to push up. So you'd be safer waiting for a lower high there if you're going to short that. And we'll find out in a minute whether... yeah, see what I mean? But if you get a lower high, in other words, it triggers that one and comes down some more, then that's a better indicator we're coming down. It just saves you losses sometimes if you wait for the higher low or the lower high. It's just a better indicator that you are aiming in, the market is pushing in the direction you're hoping it is. So there may be a bigger channel up here. We've kind of had our couple of legs cleared out this, so this now may go up. So I'm staying out of shorts at the moment. I'm not guaranteeing it will go up, but my gut feeling it is. So let's see if we can find something that works here. It's not the best looking one in the world, to be honest with you. But it's definitely moving up, isn't it? So we got a leg up with a bit of a correction, eventually pushed up with a bit of sideways, and my gut is we're heading to this measured move. It is going up, but untidily. So there's the high of the day. How far has that come back? So you wouldn't really want it to retrace this far any further than this if it does come down. But it may just recover a lot of that. Sometimes bad news hits and it does drop, and a lot of the times you do recover it. I haven't seen anybody take any trades yet. I know Dan took that one. Seen anybody else take any trades? Yeah, so Thomas Wade still got a channel there, in which case we've had a break and a new high. So if there is a channel, it's played out. Sometimes working off the highs may help. No. So that's fitting quite nice. That looks like an overshoot. So I would avoid that next long. Excuse me a sec. Okay. So that looks like an overshoot. So I'm giving this a bit of space now. Yeah, Dan's just put that down there. Seems like we may have an overshoot working up. He hasn't got it, but he's put that. So I've got the same thing. So I'm avoiding this next long. Let it come down. If it does continue up, then I'll extend it. Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, we're getting up to that level now. Sometimes after an overshoot, it comes back, makes a new high, and then reverses. See, I find after an overshoot, a lot of the time, it starts to work down. Sometimes you get a bigger correction and it pushes up. Sometimes it pulls back a little bit, goes straight up, makes a new high, and does a full-out reversal. We'll see. But if we're hitting that 61.8, whatever level it is, then that may be interesting. So we're right on it, literally to the tick. So let's see what happens. I mean, it may continue on up, but if it's interesting, the fact that we've had an overshoot straight up to a new high and bounced off that 61.8 level. So that'll be interesting just to see what happens here. 0 trades for you. To be honest with you, mate, I only took them pre-market. I can't trade my 5 accounts, but I got a separate PA account, and I took that. I liked it. ATR was quite high, so I just held, follow me, stop up, and got 6 points there. And that was a risky trade, but I'm pretty good at spotting traps. And for me, we got a channel back and a strong bullish bar that's triggered, and that's come down. So for me, that's going to get stopped out all day. So I just got in there and just got out for 2.25 on that one account. So that one account's up 800 for the day. So that's enough for that account for the day. So to be honest with you, mate, you can't really trade this stuff. I don't think that was terrible. I'd have preferred it. You know, we've had. Thank you. Thanks. We've had that leg and leg down. We've cleared out all these stops. We've triggered the first one. We've had the same size breakout as the top. So I don't think that's a terrible trade. I'd have preferred it to be a little bit more bullish, but we have moved up from there. So it does seem like we may get up here. So as long as this doesn't reverse now, I'll extend that. Oh yeah, big 30-point drop there. That bear bar triggered. Let's see what happens. See if that bull bar triggers and it comes down. Yeah, no trades here is a good thing. It's just, you know, you've been patient enough to sit through that. You know, it wasn't long ago I tried to trade that stuff. I'd be, you know, going, here's a second entry long, there's a second entry short, and I just get chopped up. So whenever it does that and it's unclear now, I just stay out of it. And it is a good testament to having patience. I mean, literally, that's when the market opened 2:30, and we've been sat here now over an hour, and it's just been chopping sideways. Mac will mark 33. He probably will. Is he back yet, or is he still away? Me too. I'm more patient now. Yeah, it's to be honest with you, days like this are a really good exercise, because I have read that patience is almost like a muscle that you know that you work, and it just gets stronger and stronger. You know, and losing your patience does you way more damage than taking bad trades. It really does. So if I have a day where I walk away, I'm quite happy. I feel content, because there wasn't any trades good enough for me to take. You know, we can only take what the market offers us, and if it doesn't really give us any offerings, the best form of action is to walk away without taking a trade, and it's a testament to having good patience. It was the thing I think I struggle with most, and it's one of my sort of stronger parts now. I think my I'd say my patience is 9 out of 10. My discipline is probably a 7.5 to an 8. I still occasionally take something a little bit too impulsive, but that's slowly come down over the last few years, and I expect that just to improve. But my biggest weak point is taking a loss. I still find it a bit hard, so I have my guardian angel there just to sort of take me out of action if I lose a trade. So that forces me to break that habit. Nice job. Cheers, Chris. How you doing, buddy? So it's a nice feeling when things do start to come together, but there's so many elements. Trading's way harder than I ever thought it was. Way harder. I've done a fair few jobs throughout my life, and I've never done anything this hard. The trouble is there's so much failure, and it's very hard to actually have that belief that you're ever going to be able to do it. And then with time, you start to avoid getting trapped. You take less trades, and things start to feel like they're working, and You know, as you get that little tip in the balance, your confidence starts to get up. You take less trades, you win more trades, you stay out of bad setups. And eventually you start to feel confident enough that, yeah, I can do this now. And I'm kind of at that level now where I'm starting to feel like I'm going up. And I've come out of this, this is kind of like trading. You start up here on top of the world, make a few trades, think you're going to make a fortune, and then you drop, and then you spend a lot of time doing this. And eventually you get used to the emotions and something changes, and you start doing what they've been telling us to do for years, but it's almost impossible. And then you start to climb, and that's where your confidence level starts to build. Haven't traded my peer accounts, trying to get my head around these. Oh, you're doing those, are you? I signed up for them, but I never. You know what it's like. Sometimes you sign up to these things, and I never went through at the end. Yeah, I do that a lot sometimes. Say I'm going to do something and then never get around to it. I still lose it sometimes. Yeah, it doesn't go overnight, but it does go slowly. Sometimes late in the day, one stupid jump on it. Yeah, we've all done that, mate. Now and again it happens to me. Not much, but now and again. But just think back how many times you used to do it. Your brain, training that brain, and it's all up in your head, isn't it? As I've said before, if you go to a gym and you start to lift weights and you start to lose weight, you can physically see that change happening. Whereas it's in your head, it's very hard to sort of, because it happens so slowly, it's very hard to think, am I actually getting this? But over time, what I found things would change with me when I stayed out of traps a lot, which tells me that I'm understanding how price works. And then you start to get a bit of confidence then. But what I've found is you have to really keep on that disciplined game. It's very hard to slip up. And I found after one loss, that often leads to a second one. So I'm now making a sort of a real mental sort of decision that when I take my next loss, to really sit back and let that trade come to me and not try and force it. Wealth charts are not intuitive for me, like Ninja Trader. Yeah, I find Ninja Trader. I did open the chart and I thought, Christ, that looks complicated as hell. Same as Quantow, that looks complicated. I think Ninja Trader is a really easy platform to use. There's not a lot on the screen, so sometimes when you're filled with buttons and all sorts of stuff, it clogs your brain up, doesn't it? So there is a higher low here, but we've come up to this level a few times and it's struggled a bit. So I'm just going to sit tight here. That bull bar is triggered. So it looks rangy again. So we could have that same issue with this where it flushes down again. That for me, it's going long into the highs. Now it may work, but I've just got alarm bells. The Mac would tell you not to take that. There's no room to the highs at all, so you can't take that. It's a tick or two. And often when you are up there like that, if it's not a strong position, it often comes down and stops them out. So for me, I'm just leaving that. Now, I do think now there's a good chance we get up here or possibly even higher. I'm trying to find something that may fit. That may not be terrible now. Can we get back here a bit? So maybe I like to touch a few times there, so it might be here. Or it might be here somewhere, but somewhere along those lines it kind of visually fits. It's about as good as I've got, actually. So risky going long here, I think. I'd want it to come down here, I think. Trouble is, I'm going to get rid of that, actually. Let's have a look, see if anybody else has got. See, Dan's got a channel up here with a break and a push up for a new high. So if you'd have taken that bullish bar now, that's going to stop you out by one tick, look. So many times in the past, you'd be itching to jump into something like that, and then as soon as it does that, it just, sooner or later, you just give up. It's very hard when you're first learning to trade to stay out of, because you're that excited. You know, you want to succeed, you want to take trades, you feel if I take trades I make money, and you get chopped to pieces, but you soon learn. It's not easy to read that, because it kind of gives you a little bit of a, like we're going up, but it's not trustworthy, this, and all of a sudden, woof, 2 legs down, clears out all these stops. And we're kind of doing the same. It's giving that indication of we're slowly moving up. But I find that not very trustworthy. And often decides to drop down and damage you. So I'm just going to leave this at the moment. It's still very choppy. I'm really surprised we haven't had any discounts from Apex. We've had nothing since a couple of days after the new year. Nothing at all. This is the longest period we haven't had at least an 80%. I don't know why. It's odd. See, there's kind of a solid looking bull bar there. But look what's happened. It's triggered and coming down. So it's just too sideways. It's risky. It doesn't have a tick chart. The thing I like about tick charts is the bars are almost all, you know, about as close to being the same size as they can be. Whereas if you flick over to a 2-minute chart, they flip all over the place. You know what I mean? You got little tiny bars here, then bigger bars, then massive bars. Look at the variation is just too much. And I find if you take a small risk here, you could risk, say, $200-300. You get in with a second trade and you're risking double that. So I just find, I mean, the setups look okay. Similar, but these bars are so much bigger and unclear size-wise. They go from tiny, this tiny thing here, to massive. And that's why I like that 2000 tick chart. They're all more or less the same size within reason. So I'm going to move this up a bit to about there, I think. So there is support along here, so price goes up and comes back to previous support, doesn't it? So I want to take this one in case it does come down and bounce around here and take these lows out. It is a leg and a leg, but I generally avoid picking bottoms. I'm not very good at it. Higher low would be a better option. That's no good anyway. Excuse me a sec. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a quick minute. Okay. Let me just have a look on the 10,000 tick chart, see if that's giving us a better picture. It may well do. Okay, so that's the 10,000 tick chart. So let's just see if... yeah, it's hard at the moment. It is sort of kind of bouncing and bouncing, isn't it? But it's... the trouble is, it's sort of cutting across at that angle, which tells me it may be losing a bit of momentum. I mean, it's difficult to trade this stuff. It's, you know, it's just rounding off, isn't it? Doesn't help much. So that channel's had an overshoot, pushed up and made a new high. We've made a few attempts at pushing up. So that's interesting. Looking at this, there's that gap down. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if we recovered all of this. We've pushed right the way down. And now look how strong this is pushing up now. We're above that EMA. It's kind of dropped to the right area, and it looks to me, so I won't be shocked at all if we at least fill that gap or even make new all-time highs. Where are we? 6 is 8. No, maybe a little bit too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up quite bullish by the end of the day. So there is going to be some support there. Maybe put that there. So let's see if this bounces here somewhere for a move up. But, yeah, interesting. So channel break new low. Let's see where this thing goes. Still on the long side. Yeah, I am as well at the moment, bud. I'm just looking for some bounces here, maybe to continue on up. I just, you know, sometimes it'll support will become resistance, won't it? Or resistance will become support, rather. But there is that overshoot, and often we push up and then start a reversal, so you never know. So that's bounced there. Yeah, you have got to be careful. This thing doesn't decide to reverse. So going long above that might be a bit risky. It hasn't triggered yet. It's 19 ticks as well. There is a possibility this thing could come down some more. It's always possible. Sometimes that overshoot will lead to a new high and then a reversal. So that bar has triggered now. Let's see where this thing goes. I mean, regardless, it's 19 ticks. I don't want to take 19 ticks on that. Tick above, tick below is 21 ticks. It's too risky, that is. That's like $500 per account. I'm not risking that. So we've got a channel down and one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. So channel break. You've got to think about that. It didn't look terrible, see? We had a break of it, and is it going to count a new low, which would mean take that out? I mean, that went a decent enough move to make you some points. It's got to went 4 points, isn't it? Near enough. So you've got to be thinking that that is more likely to get stopped out. Maybe get a small pullback first. Yeah, stop below there. See, market's choppy. It's chopping people up at the moment. Fortunately, it went 4 points. So if you took a point and a half, 2 or 3 points, it would have worked. I don't want to get into a 19-tick bar, not when it's whipping around like this. So channel break, new low. Let's see. Let me just look at that. Straight down. Let's just put that there. That wouldn't be terrible, actually. In fact, let's put a channel there. Yeah. Really not easy today. It's doing a lot of this. Loads of chopping around. You just can't trade any of this. There's a lot there, some there. So pushed up, had a pullback, pushed up, had a pullback, pushed up, had a pullback. So a leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here. Let's put that there. Okay, I don't think that's that bad. It's probably as good as we've got at the moment. So channel break, new low. Break, new low. See what happens here. If you hold below the RTH POC, then you're short, are you? Yeah, I'm assuming your POC's here, isn't it? Such a lot of price there, isn't there? Assuming it's got to be there, isn't it? $60.32, are we? Oh, so you're more or less on it now, aren't we? Yeah, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So, I mean, I can adjust this thing slightly lower depending on how you're looking at it, which would mean something like that. But it's a bit of an odd place to start. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'll delete it. Yeah. Now that's interesting. I can micro adjust this a little bit. That would still fit. So if that gets stopped out, price may come down, but I think that may hold. It doesn't look terrible. We've had a channel with a break and a new low. We've had a channel with a break and a new low. So I don't think that's a terrible trade. I think the higher low is better, but it's just unclear at the moment and it's very choppy. So I think, yeah, the higher low will be the safer option unless it triggers below this, but it's just a bit unclear at the moment. So it's off the right area, but it's a bit early. Yeah. See, stopped it out by a tick. See, we range, we had a drop out, pull back in, dropped out again, pull back in, and then had a strong push down. So, let me see if I can adjust this somehow. Let's remove it for a minute. I mean, it has been doing this all morning, isn't it? We push up, we have that pull back. Strong push up again, we have that pull back. Strong push up again, we got that pull back. So it's at the midline of this at the moment. So is that where it's going to move up? If it moves up. So did we bounce at that 61.8 level? I think we did. Yeah, we more or less did, didn't we, a couple of times. So I wonder now if this thing is going to move lower. And, see, if this thing was going to move up, I'd expect it to bounce around here. Pushed up, didn't we, and bounced more or less around the highs here. And now we've had a push below there, so... Yeah, it's hard to read all this. It's not going up in what I would consider a nice... I mean, it's clearly moving up at the moment, but I'm not sure whether this is running out of steam. What have we been going for? At now I'm 35. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break while it's figuring out what it wants to do. Make a quick cup of tea and I'll bring it up. So I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. There is a second entry short there. 1, 2, 3 triple test. We've had a bounce off here though, so it's a bit risky going short there just at the moment. There is a triple test, but it's 14 ticks. I don't think so. Yeah, see, we've had a break of that. Just get rid of that. There is a failure there, but we're not really trapping anything of substance. So there's second entry short. That's no good. It has triggered, but yes, I have, Paul. Yeah, I just had a new PA account, and I took that one for 6 points. ATR was high at the time. That one for 6 points, and I saw a little trap there, a little bull trap there. So I just took that one and came out right at the close, but just on the one account. Yeah. So that did work for a bit. I don't think it was a terrible place to go long, but just not sure about this at the moment. There is 2 legs up and a bearish bar. There's going to be stops there and there. It's very tempting to go short there, but it's massive. Too rich for my blood. Hasn't triggered anyway. Yeah, we have bounced here a few times, but the fact that it's pushed up out of here and then pulled all the way back. Just don't fancy getting in for whatever it was, 20 ticks or something. It is 2 legs and a big bearish bar. There is a lower high there, but it's a bit congested here. $15 ticks in it. It's just it's a bit congested here and it's a bit unclear. So, do I think it's going to push down? I think it's more likely it's going to break below here. But I just 15 ticks. There's not much distance for that, so I'm just sitting tight here, I think. That's broken below there. It's just risky, I think. I don't like this. It's choppy. It could push up. It could start ranging a bit. I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a terrible trade, but I'm staying out of it. So stop that one out. That's what I thought might happen. Not so sure about this. So possibly second entry long, maybe a failure. This could go down at a less steeper angle, possibly. Not sure. Let's see if this one triggers. Do I think it's going to go up or down? Something's telling me down. I mean, it did work that, but it's massive. It is 2 legs up, but it didn't trigger for 3 bars, so you can't take it from a Pat's point of view. Lower high you could have done, but I didn't like that wick, and then it's starting to stack up a bit there. It has worked, but it was risky, I think. I don't think many took it that I can see. Yeah, Thomas Wade saying the early break kept me from trusting the lower heights. You don't know whether it's going to trigger that and push up higher. So, unfortunately, you just can't take it, really. Even though it works. So, now we're at that 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level, so I wonder if it's now going to continue down a bit, maybe to retest these areas, or whether it's just going to have a couple of legs and then push up some more. Who knows? It's a bit hard to tell at the moment. It's just gone a little bit weird. But we bounced off that level. So it's going a bit sideways. We may have a leg, and who knows? But at the moment, it's hard to trade this area. If that was a smaller bar, I like the leg, and they're sideways enough to notice it's a clear channel with a break and a new high. So the setup isn't too bad. Now, if you wouldn't have had this, I'd have taken it, even with the 20 ticks. But 1, it didn't trigger, and 2, we'd already had a break. So technically the channel had played out, so it could trap you. So there's just too many things going against that. One, the size of it. Two, the fact that we'd already had a break. Three, the fact that we had bounced in this area, so you just don't know. And four, the fact that we had 3 more bars it didn't trigger to the 4th bar. It's just too late then. Certainly from a Pat's point of view anyway, but I mean, however you look at it, channel down now. I suppose you could look at this as maybe a spike in a channel. I don't think that would be bad. I don't think that looks terrible. It was like a spike down, and then it did tend to work, and then we had 2 legs up. If I'd have had that, I may have had a go at that now. Because I like that. It actually fits nice. So we may get a leg and a leg now. Which is a shame then, because actually all of a sudden, if we'd have had that, that actually looks really nice. I'd have 100% taken that. Yeah, if that is a spike and channel, which I like it actually, that trade now all of a sudden looks really nice. But at the time, it was just slightly different, so it's a shame I hadn't had that earlier, because I may have even had a go at that. The trouble is, it didn't trigger, but the lower high did. So maybe try and get it on a limit order back here a bit. So, leg down. I'm guessing that this is quite likely now. It's broken below all this, so let's see what happens here. It's hard to trade today. It's an odd looking chart. It's giving you that impression that it's continuing up, and then it's just struggling here, and then obviously. So let's see if anything like this fits. That wouldn't be terrible, so I think that's okay. Yeah, because we did it that 61 point level, didn't we? 61.8 level. See what happens here. So, we're at the bottom of the channel here. We're struggling here, so we may get a small break here. But even if we can test this underside and get a second entry short there, that might not be terrible. ATR's under 3. That's kind of where I like it. Yeah, all of a sudden it looks nice, that now. That would be a really nice correction, actually. But sometimes as you sort of chart and that develops, you miss things like that. So if you came back later and this continued down in this channel, you'd jump all over that, wouldn't you? Because all of a sudden it looks nice now. But in real time, you don't quite know where price is going. You still have taken a big bear bar with 2 inner bars. Yeah. To be honest with you, if the context is right, that to me is a nice correction. You see it all the time. Obviously, we've been going up a lot, but we had one the other day. It pushed up, and we had a really nice correction, and it took off. So after we've had a channel down, sometimes 2 nice legs that almost side by side. I really like, you know, when I say side by side, clearly apart, you know what I mean? You couldn't actually draw it as a complete channel. You can clearly see there's a channel there with a break and a new high. Not only that, there's a failed second entry short here, which is pushed up. But then when you have this big bull bar and it ticks across and comes down, eats that out, for me, it's going to push down. But obviously at the time, I had my channel there with a break, so I was avoiding any more shorts. But then obviously, as the channel developed and you kind of redraw your channels and get them to move, sometimes things look really nice, but at the time are a bit hard to take. I mean, it's 20 ticks, and yes, it didn't trigger, but the lower high did. And eventually it did work. Sometimes it fiddles around for a little bit, but then we had a good push down. So often, and you'll hear Mac talk about that, often a nice correction like that is the centre of the pattern. So I think there's a really good chance we get this second leg down. This thing does seem to me look like it's reversing now. Whether it's going to come down and test these levels or this level or down here or what, or we could have 2 legs back and it may decide to push back up. But I think there's a good chance that price is going to hit this level. So I'd be looking for a second entry short up here or testing the bottom of this. Yeah. But it's a nice correction, and often you see those. What's it used to trade those a lot? The Gorilla Trader. They were his bread and butter, and he do really well out of that type of correction. You can clearly see there's a little micro trend up, a little micro channel up there. We got a break, 2 pushes to a new high, triggering longs, triggering that. Well, there's a higher low there. Sorry, a failed second entry short there. Which is also triggered, and then all of a sudden it comes down strong, which tells me it's slightly on its way down. But at the time I had my channel drawn slightly different, so I didn't pick up on it. But now I can see it. Okay, so Thomas Wade's just this second posted that. He still posted it through there, whether it's through it or not, but he's put it there. So I don't know, does that matter? You don't often see it too much. Usually you can adjust it, but it may come time, we may get up here and then you can adjust that line. So it's hard to say, really. So if he takes that now to there and puts that there, in fact, that's much closer to the bottom, that is. So maybe that doesn't look terrible. Sometimes it will do that and just carry on down, I suppose. We don't often see it. Usually when we have a break and we continue on down, usually you can kind of adjust your charts to sort of that. And in all honesty, I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up being the channel and we get up to here, which tells me be cautious about taking a short here. Because often when you get a break like that, it eventually leads to a wider channel. So that may be a complete leg, that may be another leg. So it's worth paying attention to that. So what I'm going to do is put that there. I don't think it really matters too much, but then just put a line here just so I'm aware that there is a possibility that there may end up being slightly wider and it would fit with the bottom. So Thomas Wade's got his like that, and he's got that chopping that bit out, which I'm happy with that for now. But there is a possibility that you may go shorty and this thing may take off. So I'll just be a little bit careful here. Kind of have to think on your feet, don't you? So if it is coming from there, we could extend that up there, which would mean getting down quite a bit lower. Take us down to this level here. Does look like this is reversing. Well, I say reversing, maybe coming down and retesting these. I mean, who knows, by the end of the day, we may just end up doing something like that. I don't know. It's hard to read today anyway. It's not the simplest of days, especially with that massive move down there. I mean, it just collapsed, didn't it? So we gapped down, we closed, and we ended up dropping 185 points, 184 points. But from where we gapped, it's still 157 points relatively quickly. It just dropped, didn't it? Small pullback, small pullback, small pullback, and then dropped. Then we had those two legs, and then it went down for a chunk more. So I'm being cautious about going short here. If I was a massive believer in that channel, I'd take a bearish bar here. But I'm concerned because that's cutting through there that this pushes up and meets a slightly wider channel. So I'm being a bit cautious here. So a leg up, little pullback, another leg up would take us up to this area. So this may be in play. So now this may work, but I'm avoiding it at the moment because I have a sneaking suspicion that there may be a larger channel here, and this may trigger and push up. If it's your trade, take it, but don't listen to me. But I'm just sitting tight here. Really, it's actually in this channel, so I'll be trying. Yeah, now it may work. I've not got a problem losing it at all. I've not got a problem missing the trade, but it's 13 ticks, tick above, tick below. You're risking like $350 times 5. I'm risking $1,600 odd. Now it may rocket down, that's fine, but even if it's this channel, we've still had a small break out of it. So for me, I'd just rather avoid it personally. But if it's your trade, you know, take it. Unless there may be something like this, in which case we've missed that bit. So I don't know. I got mixed feelings about this whole thing. Let's just chuck this out the way. Trouble is, if we touch here, this is only the second time we've touched. So, yeah, Thomas Wade's avoiding it because it does look like another break. He's got it from there to there, which I don't think's terrible, but he's got it as another break. But a channel that size rarely has a tiny break like that and pushes straight down for a new low, which tells me there's something wider going on. And the only thing I can think of is something like that, but then we miss out that. So, I don't know. It may be a spike in channel. That wouldn't look terrible. Yeah, that actually doesn't look too bad. It's hard to read today because it's not playing its usual game. So it's pushed up and it's hit this level and come straight down. There are circumstances where, but I just wasn't aware of exactly what I was looking at. So sometimes sometimes you miss things and then later on, you know, it kind of makes sense, but it's kind of like a breakout pullback. Trouble is, I don't want to go short there into nothing. Yeah, I'm still not convinced it's not going to get up to this level here. I'm just going to put that there as just an area of interest. Spent a lot of time doing that today, haven't we? Shame about that. The setup's nice. It's just the context at the time isn't just right. I'm using for that quick screenshot. It's called. Is that Guyzo? Guyzo, I think it was free. Gyazo. And all I do is right click it. Sorry. Right click down the bottom, click capture, do me capture, and then it pops up on here like this. And I just get rid of that, right click, copy, and shut it down. And then I've got it ready to post. So Guyzo, it's called. Guyzo. Yeah, Guyzo. I'm assuming it's Guyzo. Yeah, it is free. It's the quickest way I've found of taking. I used to do the snipe thing, but that's just long-winded. It's not much quicker, but it does feel easier to me. So, okay, so bounce now. Okay, let's see if it connects with this area up here. It's also a channel down, 1-2 attempts to push higher, but as it's above that, and I haven't got anything better at the moment, I'm going to avoid taking a short here. I'd just like to see it get close to this level. Okay, let's see what happens here. Well, if it's going to turn, this will be the area that it does. If it does, that is. Yeah. I can't give that a little bit. Not too much. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, Dan took that failed breakout. At the time, I didn't know what I was looking at with my channel. But there are circumstances where I'd love a trade like that. But at the time, I just didn't know what was going on. Okay, so it is reacting to that level. So far, we need it below that EMA. So let's just put that there, see how that looks. That don't look too bad to me. Fits nice there. Yeah, I rather like that. I had a sneaking inkling. We got 3 which connect there. I had a sneaking suspicion, which is why well, you never know, look, which is why I never went short there, because I thought this may come up and tackle this level up here. Not an easy day to trade today. It's a really odd-looking, messy chart. Yeah, I mean, we got a leg down. That would be a great place to come down for another leg. Yeah, I would love to see something like that. It's just a bit too early to go short just yet. So, possible second entry long. Break out of this. I wouldn't want to take it, but some may. Yeah, so for me, it isn't any more obvious than that, really. So it's clearly struggled. It's come down, it's had another go, and it's just dropped. So I was right to be cautious there. That's why I left that, because I had an inkling that this was going to get up to there. Now, obviously, it came down and it did it there the next time around, but that's why I stayed out of that trade. Ordinarily, a trade like that, I think, is really nice to fade that breakout, but my concern was there was a bigger channel because I couldn't seem to get something I liked. So my concern was that this is going to trigger that and push up to these. But that's pretty definitive answer, what it's done there. I've joined those three tops up and it's pushed up there. A few bars, little drop, pull back and then down. So this, for me, this is it, I think, now. So I'd like to see another leg down. So let's clear this up a bit. Let's get this out of the way. I wonder if this is a range. Let's get an order ready just in case. So channel down, one attempt to push higher, second attempt to push higher. If we can bounce here and get a lower high, I'd have a go at that. Maybe a bit rangy, so it may get a bit higher. It's hard to say, really. Okay, it's pushed up and just touch that. A second entry short here, I'd like. Unfortunately, that is still in this little short-term trend channel, so I can't go short there. So channel down, one attempt to go. Come on, second entry short up here would be nice. Now we're below there. Little pull back and then straight down. It's flicking around some now. What's going on? Channel down. One attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. There's always a possibility of a range here, so
Order cancelled.
we can push down and get a lower high. I'd have a go at that. We're bouncing along this area. I That would be a second entry short, but I don't like it at the moment because this, if this is a range, it could come up here. So I'd only take a lower high below that EMA. So we've got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. I'd like to see this fail here. Doesn't look like it's going to though, does it? May do. Yeah, you've got to be a bit careful going short here, I think. Tis looking. We've had a load of bounces here and we've come down and bounced again. So, leg down. That would be a second entry short, but we've had a break at this. So I would have to stay out of a trade here, a short here just at the moment. We've got this channel down. Could be a couple of attempts, but this to me is looking more of a range now. Could actually bring that down a touch to there. There's a couple of attempts to push up. I don't know whether you could even incorporate this into it. It's possible, but it's starting to get a bit odd looking now. Touch, 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 touch. 2 legs up and a strong push down, maybe. I don't know. It would fit. I'll be so careful though. It is 2 legs up. It would have to be a lower higher or fairly below that EMA. But it is looking rangy. Excuse me just a sec. Okay.
Order
See what happens
submitted.
here. Trouble is, it could be bottoming here. We bounce quite a lot of times, so it's hard to know whether we're going to get something like that.
Order cancelled.
Channel down with a break, bouncing multiple of times. Who knows? Kind of had 2 legs, not massive legs, and now it could contend to push up. I don't know. It's just hard to read today. I'd like to trap some longs. So let's look how we've bounced there now. And that's a fair bearish bar there, that is. Tempting, that. Very tempting. It's very tempting. Oh, well, that's very tempting, but it was above the EMA. You don't know when it's going to trigger you and push up, test these highs again. Well, it definitely went for 3 points. I was very tempted to get in there, very tempted, but the fact that it's above that EMA and there is a line up here. Never mind. See if we get a bullish bar and get a failure. So if Penguin was going to take this here, he'd be getting out of the lows. So we can get a second entry short. I'll have a go at this. I was very tempted there. I mean, that's rejection, isn't it, from the top? Trouble is, it's still very choppy. There's a failure
Order
on my other
submitted.
chart. If I take it, I'll bring it in. It's 14 ticks though.
Order
Yeah,
cancelled.
yeah. My gut feeling, 1, 2, 3, triple test, this thing's coming down for another leg. It's just getting a decent entry without getting chopped.
Order submitted.
See if we get a second entry short here. Ooh, that's a big ass bar. As I mentioned, there is a possibility all this is bottoming for another big push up.
Order
Get rid of that
cancelled.
for now. That would be a second entry short from there. See how big it is.
Order
Don't think that's a
submitted.
terrible trade. Let's see what size it is. No,
Order
no.
submitted.
Bigger risk than I wanted. Like, Come on, push. Big ass risk. I'm going to give that an extra tick. I know it's a bigger risk, but get down. That would be a second entry short. Come on, push down. Push.
Channel down, second entry short. Come on, end up bearish. So I am going to put that there now. Yeah, I don't like this. Come on. I'm getting out for break even here. See what happens.
Order
Something
filled.
about it I don't like. Probably going to work now, isn't it? And now it drops. That's frustrating. It was just a bigger risk than I wanted, really. I didn't want a $400 risk. So I'm quite glad I got out of it. Channel down. It is a second entry short. I can still take another trade.
Order
Yeah,
submitted.
I have a
Order
$75 $75 leeway. So if I get out with a trade for a point, sorry, a few ticks, I can still trade. But does look like it's going to work. It is a channel down with a second entry. I like that. We trapped that bull bar. It's probably going to work. But just the risk was a bit bigger than I wanted. See if we can get a failure. See if we can get a failure.
Order submitted.
Got in a bit late. It would have worked. See, that was a second entry short there, first entry. So we got one push up, second push up, touched this line, came down bearish, lower high. See if we can get a failure. So where did I get in? Around about there, didn't I? It worked out nice, actually, because I did drop it below there. It's probably going to come below there, so that would have been nice. Never mind.
Order cancelled.
Impossible to buy this. Yeah, see, when we look back at it later in hindsight, it's easy when you can see what happened. You can spot all the entries, but in real time, there's no guarantees unless you're really sure what the market's doing. Now, this is fitting. It is fitting, but it's also going a bit sideways. The temptation is to go short there because we broke below these lows here and we've had a little pullback. Temptation is to go short, but it may trigger you, come back up and test this line once more. My gut feeling, we've had the push down and we're spending a lot of time going sideways. So my gut feeling is we come down for another leg. But whether it does it here or whether it does it here or whether it just drops out from here, well, that's the sort of $1 million question, isn't it? There's going to be probably buyers there, 2 legs down, buyers thinking this is going to go long, and they're probably trapped. There's probably going to be other buyers and definitely some down here. So if it gets down here, then I think it'll continue down. But I've taken trades like this before and got stung, and it comes back up, ticked it out, and then dropped. So as much as I think this may work, it is just a first entry. So, well, technically, it's a failure. But when you've got this little bit of area, I'd like another touch on this line really to confirm. So a second entry short, I think, would be a better option. And when you see it trigger like that and push up, and it's bound to stop it out, wouldn't trigger it like that and not at least stop that out, because you're bound to be people who's going to be going short there. So for me, really, it's hitting the top. Now the highs are slowly getting lower and lower. So, you can only hope that that is right. Now, there's a second entry short there off this line again. So do you go, well, there's a short, so is it worth taking? You know what I mean? That is kind of the big question, because it has trapped a higher low there. So is it a bad trade? Who knows? You don't know till you take it, really. See, there's going to be some stops there, isn't there? So all of a sudden, this thing's now is coming up. So
order
can't
canceled.
do nothing now. So I'm starting to think that maybe this channel isn't valid at the moment. So I'm going to remove it for the minute, I think. I still think it'll push down, or I like to think it will. So we've had this with a break and a new low. We've had 1, 2. This will be the third attempt to push higher for me. I'm not counting this because this might have been a break, a correction and a new low. We're going sideways, but also we're struggling to get down to the lows. So, 1, 2, 3 triple test. We've got it is a second entry short. Now, sometimes if you don't take these, they just drop like a stone. Other times they'll trap you in. Well, they cleared all them stops out there now, see? So now what's going to happen? It's a hard read today. That one, I should have held on for there because I liked it. It is a channel with a break. It actually is a second entry short. You are trapping a bull bar there, and it did work. It did what it was supposed to. That's why we kind of take those. I like the channel. It's fitting nice both sides, but trouble is when it triggers you, comes back and stops you out, it does spook you. And if you're easily spooked, but another thing as well, it was like a $425 risk, which is more than I really want. I got in a couple of ticks lower than I should have done. But I'm just thinking, do I really want to lose that? So I ended up getting out for break even. And could buy VWAP, pinch between the swing. Yeah, so it's just one of those things, isn't it? 1 minute I'm thinking this thing's definitely coming down. I still think it will. But it's, some days like this, they're a bit hard to read. And I think if you just assume it's going to do the normal thing, you could get caught out. The normal thing I'd expect to do with a push down and a load of sideways is to have another leg. We often have that sort of that move up sideways and move up, or move down sideways. And it's kind of like a channel, isn't it? We push down, we go sideways, we push down, we go sideways. It's the same sort of scenario. And sometimes when you have a channel, we do have that whipping up and down, and eventually it'll fall out the bottom, but it doesn't always happen. And today is probably a good example of things aren't quite going like we kind of expected. I thought this was going to go up, and then it just didn't seem right to me. It was struggling, and I think it was, so it's just one of those awkward days. You can get chopped around today if you're not careful. Perhaps I should have just let that go, but I didn't really want to risk 400. But sometimes when you see a nice trade and you jump in, and then you realise what the risk was. And I know Max says he doesn't care what the signal bar's like, he just gets in if he likes the setup. And it is clearly a second entry short. We've got a channel down, 1 attempt to push up, second attempt. It's always nice to trigger above a bull bar. So for me, that was going to come down. But when it came back up, I'm thinking, have I made a mistake? And then you're thinking, then have I just got away with it? But if you look at Mac's chart, often he'll mark trades like that, which almost get stopped at, but don't. And eventually it did what it was supposed to do. Leg break, 2 pushes up, lower high and a leg. But it's hard to trust today because it's very much, it's not. Sometimes these markets are so easy to read and they're just so predictable, and other days it just doesn't do what you expect. And I think sometimes then you've got to have your suspicious end and say, well, I've got to be careful what I do here. Is it best to maybe wait for something completely obvious, or assume it's going to do what it normally does? And I like the way Mac describes these, trading this chart as having multiple personalities. And it's like going out with a friend you've known for years, and you can sit there in complete silence and you're happily and comfortable because you know the guy inside and out, back to front. And other days you're out, it's almost like you're out with a complete stranger. He's not doing what he normally does. He's saying odd things. So I think this is one of those
multiple personality kind of days. And also, I suppose we have to appreciate the fact that we have spent a lot of time here trying to push lower. So at some point, it may just decide to just, one side will give in and up it'll go. So, there's always a possibility this thing now moves up, but I just can't trust it. I should have left that one by rights. If it had been a $300 risk, I'd have left it, but I didn't really want to lose 425. In fact, it would have been a bit more because I put it above there. Sometimes it'll stop one out and then come down. It nearly did it there before it came down, so. So is this just failing or is it going to push up? Same again, you pattern hunters. We've got a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, which is a bearish pattern. So if it does manage to push below that EMA and trap some longs, there may be a setup there, but I don't trade them. I'm aware of them. In fact, I'm actually going to do a little bit of currency trading in the daytime on MT4. I traded that when I first started, so I'm just going to trade a sim because I don't trade in the UK till 2:30 in the afternoon, so I've kind of got a lot of time in the morning doing not a lot really. Sometimes I'll go to the gym, I'll do a bit of shopping or a bit of housework or something when the wife's at work. But I have got some spare time, so I may do a couple of hours of trading currency just on a sim. Maybe a slightly higher time frame, 15 minutes, 30 an hour, something like that. So Dan has just put that on there, and that's how I originally had it. So there, in which case we've had a break, so you would expect a new low. Now, the break is here, and we have actually, this is very much a penguin setup. We've had a break of the channel, 2 pushes to a new low and pushed up strong, so why not do it on Ninja Trader 8? Yeah, I suppose I could do, couldn't I? Yeah, you can trade currency on here, can't you? Yeah, look on the bottom. Somehow, I don't know how to do it on here. I think I've got to go into this. So when I change this, so where's currencies? Forex. Okay, so let's say pound USD. Let's apply that. I've got to change that as well, haven't I? Pound USD. So let's. What did I used to trade? I used to trade the 30 minutes, the 60 minutes, and the 4 hourly. Why am I getting nothing on here? No, I've never traded them through Apex. When I first started to learn to trade, there's nothing's coming up here. When I first started to learn to trade, I used MetaTrader 4. I followed a guy. Your USD is okay. I've got it. Have I got it set to? Let's have a look. USD. I know how to trade on. Well, mind you, do I? Do access currencies through? Oh, who knows, mate? Who knows? You can also get free data from. Yeah, I know when I traded. I can't get it to work at the moment. Nothing's working. I know when I traded it on MetaTrader 4. MetaTrader 4 you can download for free, and you can sim trade till your heart's content. And I may do a little bit of 30 minutes, so a little bit of a slower market. But you can trade it, apparently. Mac will tell you can trade it exactly like price action, but obviously a higher time frame. So I may do an hour or two earlier on in the day. I mean, you know, I tend to get up around about 7:30 anyway. Daughter goes off to school, so no, I can't get that to work at the moment. Daughter goes off to school, so I do have time. FXCM, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing about currency is you can put a few $100 your own money in and trade very tiny amounts, can't you? So I might just do it, just play around with it on a sim for a month or two, just to see if it's worth doing. But I only trade this for about 3.5 hours because I think it's enough for me personally. You trade current, yeah. MetaTrader 4 I used. I think it's up to 5 now, but I think that's where a lot of currency traders. I started learning from a guy called Andrew Lockwood, who traded currency in the London Stock Exchange in the 80s. In I think 2000s, he went computer based and started trading from his home in London. And he trades MT4. I can't get this to work anyway, so I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing. I believe you can do it on oh, okay. Oh, hold on a second. Right, I haven't changed this, have I? I'd have to go to I don't know actually. The thing I like about MT4, if I drop a trade in, like a set and forget, I can just let it run in the background and it won't interfere with what I'm doing here. So, I don't know. Let's just delete that and recopy it. So, yeah, I like the fact that I can just set it and then forget about it. I don't know. Does anybody else do that? Does anybody just trade this, or do they have something else going in the background? Doesn't hurt, I don't suppose, does it? If you've got the time. I mean, I trade for about 3.5 hours maximum. It's not exactly a long day, is it? But I have that time in the morning where I could, you know, I could put into some place a bit of currency trading. Hard day today, not easy. So, channel break, new high. What's going on here? Are we going to bounce off here and push up? No idea. It's our day today. It's all over the bloody place. It's the oddest looking chart we've had for a while, actually, in all fairness. That's pretty straightforward, ranging with a little downward bias. This is straightforward. This thing's a massive drop, a couple of pushes up. Not sure whether we're going to go up or down. Still don't. So, it's the oddest looking chart we've had for a while, I think. I mean, we're just ranging, I suppose we are, aren't we? So, there is a lower high there. Is that a terrible trade? Maybe not. It's just 18 ticks. Not only that, we got a push up. We could get 2 legs back and it could push higher if you would be better trading gold and Apex. It moves the best in the mornings. Yeah. It'd be nice to trade something that I can trade just on a sim. But something that I could, you know, a higher time frame, a lot less stressful, something I could just set and forget it for a few hours type of trades, you know? So my gut instinct is this is still going to push down. We've had this bigger channel with a break and 2 attempts to go lower, and then we've had a push up. So that is a perfect penguin trade. In fact, I'm going to check my emails and see if he's taken that.
break, 2 attempts to push high, and then a push through that EMA. No, the last one I've had was 5s to 3. I wonder if anybody's taken it on the forum. No. So, see if we get a lower high. Trouble is, there's just no entry there. Oh, it's a tough one here. It's tempting, that. That looks vulnerable to me. It's 15 ticks and we're halfway down already.
Order
the move's bloody
submitted.
made now. I'd say it's probably going to stop that out, but the move's already been made, really, unfortunately. There's nothing left. Now, it may continue down, but if we're at the bottom of this channel, it may pull back, and I don't want to be in there if it does.
Order cancelled.
Probably take out there. But then will it push more? I can't see any. There's stops down here, surely, and down here. But is it going to pull back first? And is it going to, when it pulls back, is it going to retest the underside of this? That's what I'd be concerned with there. If that closed here, I'd have a go at that to the lows. But it's just the move's made. We're at the bottom of the channel already. So I got to leave that, unfortunately, because it could pull back and break above there, test this line. There's nothing else there stop-wise that it's going to hit and give it some momentum. Plus, we've got a leg and a leg down. There's always that possibility it could go. It's just hard to read today. There's so many variables. So you don't know it's going to do that. That's the frustrating thing. So there's going to be stops there for sure. So if this thing is coming back, I want a decent pullback. Can't get in there. It's just gone too far, unfortunately. Yeah, it would have worked for a couple of points. It may even just drop from here, but two legs down, a pullback, or two attempts to push higher, followed by another leg down to tackle these lows. Once we get below these lows, we may get another leg. Who knows? If we get another leg, that would take us down to this level down here, close to it. But the trouble is, it's just so unpredictable today. There was actually trades following, you know, this part. There was a nice, we'd had a spike in a channel there, working up lovely. Really nice second entry long, worked beautifully. Same again, nice second entry long. It's not often you get two really nice looking, two legs back and two clear second entry longs there. It's not often you get that in one channel. But that worked up lovely, that did. Just worked beautiful. And we had that break, two legs down, eventually pushed straight up. But yeah, beautiful trade there, even a higher low. Another nice trade there, and it just took off. That's why I held on for there, because I thought it was worth it. Because the ATR is high anyway, so... small pullback, nothing major. Until on the lower high, but couldn't hold it, so I scratched it. Yeah. It's not an easy day today because there's a lot of moves, but this is head and shoulders pattern, which is bearish. So I think if you get down there, it would make sense shoulder, head, shoulder, and then down. But you've got to get a decent pullback to get in. If you get in at the wrong time, it'd just trigger you, stop you out, and then end up moving down, which it always bloody does. Seeing hindsight, you'd think, yeah, good place to go short, trapping some longs there, and then down. But it messed around. It looks like it moved straight down, no problem, but it did come down a bit and then come back a bit. But So when you're in the trades, you got to put up with all the little pullbacks and the near stop outs. But when you sit and look back at a bit, and you think, yeah, great trade there. Look at it, worked like a charm. But you don't know it's going to happen, and especially when it is chopping around, you don't know whether we're going to have two legs down or what. And this thing is going to decide to push up because we bounced such a lot of times here, trying to go low, and it couldn't seem to push through. So the trouble is, you've got all this going through your mind when you're looking at these trades or when you're in these trades. So I'd like a decent pullback, really. Comes right the way down. Look, stopping out that one and lightly there. It does look like the type of what's happening. This thing is going to come down for another leg. So look at the 10,000 tick chart. That might look a bit clearer now. Okay, yeah, it kind of does and it doesn't. We've had two legs up and that. We've had this leg down with a load of sideways stuff, so I think there's a good chance now this comes down to this level. So leg down, 1, 2, 3 attempts to push higher and then just a drop. So it's a bit clearer, but it doesn't kind of give everything away, does it? So let's see if we manage to get through this. I think we will, whether it happens now or whether we get another run up at it. I've got 6.5 minutes left to trade. I'm just going to do that actually. I think that's going to get stopped out. So you just can't go short there. I was hoping we may get a bit of a bounce up to here somewhere. See if we can get a couple of legs up to here. So there's a higher low off here, so maybe we may get a bit of a push. But we've had a breakout of here, so I'd expect one out the bottom, and if it does, it'll eat up all them stops, and we may get that second push down. So I really want another push up here. It's not going to, is it? Come on. If I took that short there, I'd expect it to get stopped out. I think that's a weak position floating in the middle, so hopefully this pushes up to eat that stop, and if it does, we may get a second entry short off here. Well, I've got 3.5 minutes for it to happen before I can't trade again. I may change that to 6:30. Let's get an order ready.
Order
See if it'll
submitted.
let me keep it. I've got to get back up here. I can't get in down here. There's two shorts there which are vulnerable, I think. If it does get below here, it may trigger stops, so it may get that momentum, but I'm hoping we get a pullback, taking out these stops and giving us a short entry. But if this goes down much more, it'll drop, I think. So we've had that breakout there, so I think 100% we get one out here. It's how it happens. I just hope it happens before it drops any further. It may drop. Excuse me a sec. Okay, we'll see what happens anyway. If we get a pullback, we may get in. That's if it'll let me. I have got this trade open, so fingers crossed. But if we can get a couple of pushes up here, or even a failed breakout, because this is looking a bit rangy. So a little failed breakout of here would be nice. It is 3 attempts, but I just can't go short there. Not that far from that EMA. But that may just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Pull back. See if it kicks out my trade. As it's open, I don't think it will. I've still got it open, so we'll see. Yeah, we are, yeah. I don't mind here because we've got a breakout here, so I think we're going to get a breakout at the bottom, and if we do, we're going to hit some stops, aren't we? I don't mind going short there. This thing for me is relatively clear we're going down, and if we get a failed breakout of this, I'm not too sure there, but whether it'll hold or not, whether this thing just drops. In this, we had this breakout of here, and then it rocketed down, so I think we're going to hit this level. Second leg down. Once it gets so far, it's game over, I think. Okay, that might not be terrible. I prefer it to take them stops out there, certainly that one. I think that's too risky going short there, right in the middle of that. I'd like to take out a couple of these, maybe that one. Right, I like the fact that it's triggered below there, so that gives them some hope. Now that would be a higher low, so let's see what happens. It's above there, so let's see if we can get a bearish bar there. We need a decent bar for this. There's bound to be buyers there, see? That's triggered. That isn't pushing up strong enough for me. That's vulnerable. So if we can get a decent second entry, break above here, I'd like to take that out as well. Then I'd have a go at that, whether we will or not. ATR's down nice as well, so that's good. I want to break above this bar and that bar as well if we can. And that's a failure. Be nice to trap this and then come down. Let's see if we can trigger above there. Come on, get above it. We have.
Order filled.
Oh. Am I in or out? These are live. They're showing live. Is that right? Yeah, they're all in. It'll let me close them. That's strange. push down. I'll have to manually close these. Come on, push down.
Order filled.
Okay, closed. $100 up each. I don't like the fact of not having a stop. I think it's going to drop like a stone once it gets below there. Strange, it opened the trade. It let me take the trade. I am out. It let me take the trade. But it didn't allow my stop. So at least I know now. I think this is 100% coming down. You think there's going to be buyers there, buyers there, buyers there. Well, that's triggered now. It came below there. I like it. It's clearly 2 legs up. Big bearish bar. For me, there's this second leg down. Lower high here. I think that'd work. Anyway, I got in for $100. Is that right? Something like that. A little bit less. I like the context. I do. It's clearly 2 pushes up. Bearish bar. I think this is absolutely going to come down. It just doesn't look to me like it's worth buying. I don't know why you'd buy there. That's going sideways. That's a failed breakout. It hasn't pushed down as strongly as I'd have liked. There's bound to be some buyers there, but when it gets down below there, which it will, I think, it'll come down for this second leg. Lower higher would be fine, but it's clearly 2 pushes up, so I think this is screaming to come down. We've tried like this, and not only that, whenever we get a break out the top, we always get a break out the bottom, or nearly always, and we haven't yet. I wouldn't consider this a break, so for me, this is coming down all day long. Well, I say all day long, I probably shouldn't say that, but it's coming down. It just may take a little bit of time to push through. Lower high there, that would be nice. Was there a trade? 2 legs up, trapping a load of longs. This is coming down for me. We've had a breakout the top, which failed. Whenever we get that, we almost always get one the opposite side, and we haven't yet. And all buying here, when it's all choppy, it's just got danger written all over it. So my personal feelings, this is going to break below here, and if it does, we'll be below all that, and we'll push down for that second leg. I don't think that's a bad short to take personally. A lower high. Think how many stops are going to be. There's going to be loads of buyers there. Another little bullish bar there, although it's an inside bar triggered. Come down. So for me, I can see 1 leg up, 2 legs up. It triggered above the bull bar there. There's a failure there, see? Triangular 1, triangular, it's failure. It pushed up, so there's going to be traders going long there to push up to the top of here. Triggered it, came back down. It's just taking a bit of time to roll, but I think it'll work. I got a quick 87. I don't know why. I got shortchanged a tick. I'll just let this play out. All I want it to break those lows. Once it breaks those lows, that'll give it some momentum. That one especially. That one, I don't know, buyers may put their stop below there. So once it gets below there, that is a line in the sand, and I think it will. That's held. It has come up, but look, it's crossed straight over and come back down. So I got out of it for a quick, I don't know, $85 or whatever. My concern was I didn't have a stop and this thing rockets up out of my control. So that's a good thing to keep in mind if you got Guardian Angel Trader and you've opened a stop. It'll let you drop the stop in, but it won't. It'll kick out your stop and your take profit. So you just you're riding by the seat of your pants there. So I just wanted it to get a little, there's a bit of a battle going on there. I just wanted to get a little bit of green going, and then I cancelled it. So let's put that there. It's clearly 2 legs up, but it is stacking a bit, but I think it'll work. And then if it does manage to get below here, I think it'll come down then for this measured leg. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. Or I could be completely full of shit and I would have lost the trade. But I liked it. It was clearly 2 legs up, big bearish bar. And for me, there's a failed second entry short, which is trapped. I'll just let this play out, and then I'm going to do one then. So $87. 8. That's strange. I was down $20. Of course I was. So it was a point and a tick, wasn't it? Let's have a look. 4.5. It was a point. Okay, 1 point. I'm going to say it doesn't work out, but I was down $20 because of the trade I got out. So we're nearly there now. A few more ticks. Once it gets below there, then it'll drop, I think. So it was a point. So call it a visual second entry short. Second entry short. So at least we're green anyway. So another thing I think this has go down, because we've had a breakout at the top. It happened earlier. There was it I think it was Kirk took a longie and I said I wouldn't. That was down there. I said I wouldn't because we had a breakout at the top. We almost always get one, and exactly we got one out there before it completely careered off. So we had 2 legs down, breakout there, mirror image there, and then up. But there is a battle going on here, so who knows who might win. I certainly would have got out now. Now, I would say more often than not, if it's a solid enough position, it'll eventually hold, and I think it will. It's a big bearish bar, and I like the fact that it's triggered that. That makes such a difference, I think. So I think it'll work, but when it does go like this, sometimes it's easy to get out. And I got out purely because I didn't have a stop on that because of this Guardian Angel trader, so I got to remember that. If I open a trade before my 6 o'clock deadline, just remember that it won't allow me a stop, because if that does get stopped out, it may rocket up and I might end up losing, getting in for a lot more than I want there. So I'm going to finish in a second. I just want to see that it does push below there. So my thought process was kind of right. I'll say so. Let me just so it's not a terrible day. There's definitely a few trades around, definitely earlier, but it's bouncing all over the place. I do think it'll work. I like this setup. It is a strong bar and it is trapping there. And there's going to be a lot of buys. I wouldn't want to buy there, to be fair, so I'd rather be in a short here than a long, but when it does go sideways, it does tip the balance a bit, but I think it'll work. So I'll just wait and see this happen, if it does. So let's say, so I'd have had mine 1 tick above there. I've got no problem with it triggering above there. That's probably better for me. It's definitely getting choppy though. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll just be a quick minute. Two minutes, Em. Hey.
Sorry, mate. A few minutes ago. Yeah, well, I can't trade now anyway. It actually stopped me while I dropped that trade in. I had a trade open, so it allowed me to drop the trade in, but it wouldn't. It opened me blindly. It wouldn't let me have my stop and that, so I got out for a quick point. So second entry short there, trapping another long. This is coming down all day long for me. Sorry, I put on mute. Let's just let it push below there. So it is a second entry short. We tripped that big bull bar there. So would you call that triple test? I mean, it's choppy, but this was the initial trade going down for 3 points. We're coming down there, aren't we? That's a goner, I think it's got to be. Oh, we're going to have another go up. Trip there. I don't think it will this time. That's a pretty significant move down, I think. Talking to himself. Crazy person. In our day today, a lot of this, a lot of whipping around. So, well, I say, look, big bearish bar, trapping the longs and back up again. Look, there's obviously a battle going on here. Buyers want to hold this area, don't they? Sellers want to push it down. I still think sellers will win over. Okay, I'm going to have to finish. I'll have a look at that later anyway, but my guess is it's going to break that area there and possibly come down, but who knows today? It's been a funny old day today. So I appreciate all your comments. Odd day today, very odd looking day, but same again, head, shoulder, head, shoulder, which is a bearish pattern, which should take it down here, I think. So we may get it there. You'd think this would come down. Yeah, you too, Daryl. So... Come on. I could be sat here for another 20 minutes, couldn't I? Okay, I'll leave you guys to it. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. Failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe. We'll catch up again tomorrow, Tuesday. Bye for now.